On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains.
Coming to you straight from San Diego, California. Let's welcome our host, April Mahoney.
And I took your feedback and, marinating on all of that. And it's a blessing because sometimes you reach out to people for some advice and they take it a little bit further than they should, or maybe don't even want to share anything with you, Yeah. So I appreciate the fact that you were able to do so and even picking up the phone to give me a call and speaking to me directly. So
well, of course, the world is not all for me.
No, I know. That's the whole thing, April. People just feel like they need to it's like people being rich. They just want to just have their money to themselves. But when you die, you ain't taking it with you. You understand?
You haven't set up anything for your family, for your kids,
Nothing.
And, a living will and trust. They don't know what's going on and they all fighting over crumbs.
Do you understand what I'm saying? For me, it's like this world is so big, and I think sometimes when we're doing things as people, we believe that what's in front of us that's all there is. So no, I need to keep that to myself. No, there are so many people out in this world that can use a supporting hand, and it's great when you have people who can legitimately reach out to you and share some of their experience and share, something to you that will actually help you get ahead some way or the other. You know what I mean? So
everybody that's what we're here to do, is to share information and to grow. And I want to see you prosper. That's what does my heart good when I see you. Like yesterday, I was out and I had to go to the ATM and I saw these two guys tucked in the corner, girl, and they was toe up from the flow up. They was home. Yeah. One of them, I don't know if he could even walk. They just looked so bad. They looked so bad to me. And the Lord said, help them. Girl, so, with the corona and everything, I had my mask and my gloves. Right. I bumped the horn and I waved the money out. And he walked over to me and he put his hands together and he said, bless you.
Yes.
My chest just started kind of beating really fast because that was a blessing for me to be able to bless him. It felt so good. It felt so good.
It's amazing. You feel that spirit of giving, and you feel as you've achieved something and therefore you've helped somebody. And I've been in the same circumstance. Normally I don't, especially with some of these peddlers, they're not really needing the help, but it's not for me to judge and make that assumption. But if you feel that the spirit is leading you to give, you give. And that's what's been happening in my circle. Right.
So if they need a beer to get through the day, hell, they go get a beer.
Whatever you need, let me help you.
But what's going to help me is to have you here on the edge with me, Brains.
Yes.
Okay? Germalin Patricia Barnes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do you want to be addressed, Queen? Mrs. Barnes, Germalin, Patricia?
You can say Germalin Barnes.
Germalin Barnes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Friends, we're going to take you into a conversation between sisters about brothers.
Yes.
We'll be on and popping. You better take notes. Right, girls, you better take some notes. It's really about relationships. It's about family. It's about understanding. It's about living in Canada and living in San Diego, California, in the United States, and the world is just topsy-turvy. So thank you for being here with me today, Queen. I am so happy to have you. You have been doing some great interviews with some great people there, talking about, race relations and what's happening there in Canada. But we're gonna talk about that a little bit, but we're gonna take it a little deeper and talk about relationships, because you've had some, and I've been married 36 years, girl, and I could tell you some stories. Okay.
Oh, yes. And I've been married, coming August will be my 23rd year of marriage.
Wow.
And I can tell you some stories.
Yeah, it ain't for chumps. It's not for chumps.
Yes.
It takes more effort to really work through it.
Yeah.
To give up on it.
Yes, it's so true. And that's my story. And that's, for me, I hold on to that dearly, because we have to understand, as a married woman, it's very hard, especially when you have friends and family around, or even just as a person on a whole, when you're going through things in your relationship, sometimes we tend to hold that in. And then there's sometimes we tend to want to voice what's going on, but we're so fearful of the judgment that will be called upon us by those said individuals that you reach out to. And marriage is a very serious thing. Marriage is ever supposed to be an everlasting bond between man and woman, husband and wife. And a lot of us don't take that very seriously. And a lot of us don't even know the true meaning of what marriage is. And marriage is just that. When you're one, you're supposed to fight together, stand together, and just and be together no matter the circumstance. Those wedding vows are not just simple words, although the world is just frivolously using those words now. The vows when you're getting married, those vows mean a lot. That's taking a vow in front of, that's God's words. You understand me? Those are God's vows. Those are His words. This is what we're supposed to believe and understand in.
Now,
right?
I can go halfway there with you. Okay?
Yeah.
Because there's some things that vows don't cover. You putting your hands on me. Okay.
That's a different vow.
Yeah. That's all of that. That's, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
but nothing but the truth to help you, God.
Okay. That's a testimony right there in front of the court. Okay, put your hands on me. That I can't do. And there's certain boundaries that people have. So you have to look at, what do I have? I would look at, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
And then I reassess that and offset that by what have I gained. I look at 36 years of marriage. I couldn't just throw that away. People change. Men, excuse me, men brains, but y'all can be simple sometimes. You just don't get it. Fall into a situation, let a woman manipulate you, let your pink manipulate you, let your gambling or your drugs, and then everything turns topsy-turvy. And a woman is there, she's still trying to work the machine, she's still trying to cook the food and keep the kids, still try to be be respectful. But when you get to a point in a relationship where you are teetering back and forth, should I stay or should I go?
Should I go? Right.
Give me some suggestions on some things that you would want, people that work with you or hear your story to think about.
Well, I think one of the main things, as people, we're used to going to the negative and looking at the negative, right? And ultimately, when emotions are twirling and there's a lot of things going on, sometimes things just don't make sense. So therefore you tend to lead into your own decision, and you're leaning on your pain, or you're leaning on that anger, you're leaning on that resentment, whatever it is. That's what we as people, we do. We lean on it. So therefore we allow those feelings and emotions to lead us into whatever decisions we make. I think one of the things that we need to consider when we're going through this thing is to pull back, because when we let our emotions lead us, girl, we can go all kinds of different ways. You understand?
But if you're driving the train,
so you have to really, you got to pull back and really look at yourself and look at the situation and look at where what your contribution is to what's going on right now. Right. Especially as women that we've been in relationship for such a long time, we do lose ourselves. Everything happens, in the beginning, it's all rosy, it's all great. We want to be as perfect as we can for our partners, and which is okay. But what we don't do as people is we don't show our partners the other side of ourselves. The truth. Yes, exactly.
I got a girlfriend I was just talking to, and she was telling me, she says, I don't think I want to be married anymore. I said, okay. But she's having a conversation with me instead of having a conversation with him.
Yes, exactly.
And she said, well, he won't change. Well, you know what? If you don't tell him what you need when it comes to your sexual desires, financial, emotional, spiritual, if you don't communicate and verbalize that, he's not a mind reader.
He's not going to know. But that's one of the things we do not. Communication, we were talking about that earlier. Right. It is so essential to communicate exactly what is going on with you, what's going on through you, because we have to understand as people, we grow, we're growing individuals. So therefore, our wants and our desires, they change from who we were possibly 5-6 years ago. The world is evolving and we're also changing, because that's what we do. We grow, right? We're never going to be that 16-year-old, 21-year-old, you know what I'm saying? And as we grow, things change along with us. And I think sometimes as people, we're fearful to have those bold conversations with our partners. We're fearful to look into ourselves and see explore what's really going on within us. We're just fearful on a whole. I think, we're so consumed with what we expect from our partners, because that was one of my problems. I had high expectations from my husband, and one of those reasons because of how the relationships I had privy to my marriage, right?
Right.
Relationships that I had with my family, my brokenness from before, and I came into a marriage thinking, you know what, going in this relationship, my husband is he's going to rescue me. He's going to make me feel better. He's going to be the solution to my feelings and all that I'm going through. And I held on to that for a long time. Girl, listen, people would call me, so tell me, what is the secret? How are you guys lasting so long? And I would simply say, you know what, we're just best friends, and we talk about everything because my husband and I are like this. But I did not realize, as much as I was saying this, those words weren't true. They weren't truthful. I was actually hiding behind a mask by exploring those words because that's what I wanted to believe. But marriage is a very serious thing. It's a deep thing.
It's the most serious thing you can do. And one thing I want to touch on is that outside noise. Because you got that, you got mother-in-law, you got the girlfriend that's really jealous. She really jealous. She really wants what you have. But she got it all in the mix.
Girl, I've had girlfriends open up to me and tell me that.
Right. Right. And you got his friends that is either trying to, tap on you on the side or whispering here on how they can get to the strip club and look at, Dolly Diamond or whoever it is and for the whole paycheck. Okay, so you got that. But me and my husband made a vow.
Yes.
Commitment when we got married. Number one, that we was not gonna let nobody live with us. But it's cool. Everybody get along great. Yes. But I wasn't taking anybody's kids. I wasn't taking in the brother, the cousin, none of that. I wasn't loaning no whole bunch of money. If I can loan you some money to get you out of trouble for a minute, I'm not going to extend myself more than I can get back. As far as substance abuse, we promised that we was going to keep an eye on that. My husband is square as a pool table and just as green. He don't drink, he don't smoke. I love it. But everybody's got their own thing. Yeah. And when you look at that, you have to say, okay, this is what I have. This is what I have to work with. Yes. Is it worth continuing? And what is it doing to me? Because you have to work on yourself first, like you said. Yes. You got to look at yourself first. Yeah. But don't take the blame, ladies, because sometimes the situation is not your fault. Sometimes it's his fault.
Yes.
And sometimes
but it's how you communicate. But it's how you communicate that to him. Because as men, we know men kind of mature a little bit slower than us women. And I don't know if that's the 100% case. I just think maybe sometimes they just like to stay, they're very comfortable, right? Very, very comfortable. Right. And when you're maturing as a woman and you're noticing certain things and you want to, it's a matter of how we communicate those things to our spouse, right? Because I used to communicate to my husband in ways that he did not understand. And I used to sit back and I'm like, what is wrong with this man? I feel like I'm as clear as day. Why are you not understanding what I'm saying to you? Why are we not?
One thing is that women talk too much. Okay, we do. We just want to explain it down to the point. And my husband is like, okay, baby, I got it.
Yes.
Okay? I don't want to hear it no more. I got it. And let him process it. You have to go by a man's actions. A man will show you. Yeah. He will show you by whatever means. Your and your gut instinct tells you that something smells fishy. Believe the fish rots from the head.
Yes. But we also have to give our men benefit of the doubt. We're going to go back to what you're saying earlier, because that's one of the things that we need to do as women in relationship, men, we need to remove the noise. And that's something I had to do, because you're hearing this from this side, you're hearing this from that side, you're hearing this from this side. So it doesn't give you the opportunity to think for yourself. You're therefore thinking based on what other people are saying to you. Right. Therefore, your decision is not based on your decision. Your decision is based on what others are telling you. Mm-hmm. And often we go to people, a friend or a family, because we know that they're going to align with how we're feeling in the moment, right? Right. And so now we hang on to that. But truth be told, for me, I had to remove whatever. First and foremost, I've always been that person that don't talk my business. So I had to consume a lot of pain and a lot of struggles, you know, and just think what I was basically you know, when they stuff a ball down in the water and the ball it stays down, but eventually it's going to pop up. Right. I was full, right? And one day I was driving and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep listening to all these outside noise till I can't even hear my own voice. Wow. So I had to lead on to the Lord. And I said, the only person that I'm going to listen to is God. I can't even listen to my own self right now because I don't even know who I am in the circumstances. And a lot of times as women, we're in such a dark place in our relationship. So therefore, for us individually, it's hard for us to think. It's hard for us to breathe. It's like a dark cloud that is just covering us. And we're walking basically like a blind person trying to find our way out, you know?
But it's more than that, you know, because you have a lot of responsibility as a woman.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just your relationship with the man, but it's, you know, still holding him with dignity and honor, still having space for yourself and the kids.
Yeah.
You know? And then you want to keep this brave face because, you know, we all live in this lifestyle of privilege, girl, you know. Got that $500 smile with $20. You know, really got this fake grin going on, and it's really not happening. And it's very disingenuous. It hurts you. It causes you to have low self-esteem that you're worthy. You know, but then you got the flip side of it too, where a lot of people toss this word around, narcissist.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with this narcissist.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Well, you know, again, you have to assess who you're with and really figure that out. So when you were in your darkest points and you went and you had a conversation with your husband, what was his aha moment? What was his realization that said, you know what, baby, you know, maybe you're right. Let's work on this. Let me try to meet you halfway here.
Yeah, you see, for me, my husband is a godly man. We both are, and he relies on. He reads the word. He understands the word. He reads about relationship. He understands all of that, you know. And coming to my husband and sitting down, he had to realize that our languages we're basically speaking two different languages, and why that is because the way he's receiving my words and the way that I'm receiving his words, it wasn't aligned to our needs or our languages, right? So we had to pull back. He had to pull back and really look behind what it is that I'm trying to say to him. Look at, you know, the situation for what it is and break it down. And it's then, you know, my husband had to consider and say, you know what, shucks, I'm really, you know, offending my wife. I'm really not loving my wife the way I'm supposed to be loving my wife. And I need to really start trying to speak the language from my perspective to her so she can understand some of the things that I'm trying to say to her, as well as vice versa. And we've learned together as husband and wife how to communicate better, right? How to listen. One of the things we don't do as people is that we don't listen. So when you're listening, we're able to hear each other. You know, I was full of bitterness and anger. So my attention span to wanting to listen it was off the chain. So I didn't hear anything other than what I was saying, right? And sometimes one of the things that in learning how to listen to someone is really sit back and listen to what they have to say and not jump into the conversation, because often when you're jumping in and breaking that communication barrier, it's about what you want to say. It's about what you're believing in the moment. So you completely.
That's why I always have, when we have a heated conversation, girl, I have a pencil and a piece of paper.
You write everything down.
No, I take notes because I want to go back to that. Because again, I want to be an active participant. I want to hear it, even if it may hurt.
Yes. Yes.
You have to hold a mirror image to yourself because this is what you're projecting to that person.
Yeah.
Talking about projection. Now, you have 3 daughters and I have 1.
Yes.
You know, my daughter told me one day, she looked at her father and she said, Mommy, she said, that man right there, she said, he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, what am I going to say? Because I think of so many children that don't have the opportunity to be with their parents, to be with their biological father. The first role model of a man to a young woman is her father. That's who she looks up to. And a lot of young women want to marry a man, hopefully like their father.
Their father, right.
The role model for him. But I always taught my daughter to have a sense of self of who she was. To have your own money, have your own coin. Okay, I don't care what the situation is, because you might have to break camp and you need some money to do it. Don't give all of yourself to anybody.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
give 90%, but keep 10% for yourself.
That's the problem. That's the problem with us as women, though, April. We go into relationship and we relinquish all of ourselves to our men. So when it's time, when those situation comes up, we don't even know how to find ourselves back to really have a legitimately strong communicative conversation, where you're able to speak in truth or be yourself, because you don't even know who you are, and that's one thing I say, just to coming back to you have to understand your strength as a woman. You have to understand your ability as a woman. And I'm not saying that you should not connect, because once you marry, the marriage is where the two of you become one. Right. The purpose of why God has us here as women is to be our partner's helpmeet. So we have to be level-headed, as well as our spouse has to be level-headed. So we know how to discern or be able to help our husbands in certain situations, or even therefore when we need the support, how to communicate that language to our partner and not feeling lost. But we do give up our whole self, and I love what you said. Sometimes we got to hold back a little bit of ourselves, just tuck it away a little bit, and remember that change is there, that part is there that you can possibly look to and find some form of resource or help from, right?
Absolutely. So now, tell me a little bit about the program that you are working on now, and what you and your husband are looking to produce to help other couples work through situations like these.
Okay. So we were speaking about our daughters first. I just want to go right back to that before I go into that. Absolutely. So yes, we have 3 beautiful daughters, stemming from age 12 as oldest is to age 24. And we've always instilled proper language, how to love yourself, how to be able to communicate, strength, being confident in who you are. And if something does not smell right or feel right, speak about it. You know what I'm saying? Be a voice and open up and let that person or whomever that is for you to understand where you are and who you are, right? So our family has always been close. We've always been highly involved in our kids' lives from little babies, right? Growing into school and so forth. So we've instilled that love in them. So therefore we have that love to this day, where we communicate everything to each other. My kids are not shy to talk about anything with us. And I love that as a mother. And I love that their father is also a part of that train. You understand? Because like you said before, some kids don't even have a father figure in their life. So I'm grateful to know that's one of the things I had to look back and say, their father's been here. So those 20 some odd years that we've been together, he's been there all the way through. You understand?
But let me ask a question. Do you think that women should sacrifice everything to stay in a marriage because they want their children to be with their father?
No, I don't believe so. Because if you're not right, how can you be right for your kids? You understand me? Sometimes we lose ourselves so much that we don't know our kids. As a mother, as a woman, your kid, my daughters, they look up to me, right? So if I'm failing, and if I'm failing and I'm in a dark place and I'm not able to really function properly, I don't look like that strong woman they once knew. I'm now this weak individual. Therefore, I can't give them advice. I can't communicate to them right. I can't love them the way I'm supposed to, because I'm not able to love my own self. So you have to sometimes go back and self-reflect, and you have to make a decision, because sometimes I know marriage is something that is what the Lord calls on us, but sometimes sometimes that relationship or that marriage it's not aligned. It's not supposed to be. And you may have to make that decision to walk away, and God will still love you and he will forgive you, most definitely. But you also have to make that decision, for yourself and yes, for your family. So no, I don't believe that a woman should stay in a marriage, especially if it's failing so badly for the sake of your kids. Some may think differently from me, but this is just my opinion.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what about the program that you and your husband have created?
So I have a few things going on.
Okay, all right.
We have a few things going on. So my husband and I going through our struggles, going through our relationship matters, and pulling back and being able to look at our situation, look at the love that we have for each other. Because one thing we have to understand, love is not a feeling, it's a choice. So we've chosen to continue our blessings that God has given us and build this marriage even on a stronger platform. And we wanted to give back. Some people give back, they donate clothes, they donate this, they do that. But for us, we wanted to create a program, a platform where we can speak to those who are needing the support and understanding of what relationship or a marriage looks like in a true sense, not a false sense, but a true sense, because a lot of people are out there pretending that their love is so real, pretending that they're so happy, and really and truly that's not the circumstance. So we are two individuals that are willing to and okay with being authentic and real and speaking about our trials and tribulations and how we have conquered that and what we had to do in order to make that work. Because there are women that are out there and men that are out there that are so broken in such a way that they don't know how to put those pieces. It's like a breaking of fine china. You know what I'm saying? How do you put that back together, right? Some people are lost. They don't understand what that looks like, and therefore they give up. So our purpose is to empower you not to give up, but empower you to really understand what true relationship looks like, so you can start again, and start in the right way and start in the right place and understanding each other's language.
Now, relationships look a little different now, because folks is doing different things. They have these polyamorous relationships where they're now, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. If you like it, I love it. You ain't bothering me,
Yeah.
But, they have open marriages. We just went through an entanglement. So people are open to that. There are heterosexual, there are bisexual relationships. So relationship, I think, is a big $25 word. And I think that it can be tailored and it can be niched down to what each individual wants, because it can't be cookie cutter for everybody. So in your counseling and in your training, I know that you're going to be doing a lot of listening, because you want to hear with an objective ear both sides of the coin.
Of course.
But we have to open, even, if we're coming from a faith-based, perspective, I respect that too. But it's a new normal, okay? The corona done changed everything for everybody. But it's opened things up, and it's allowed us, again, biracial relationships.
Well, that's been around.
It's been around, but people are still got a bullseye on their back. Because they don't really understand how to receive it, and they don't understand the cultural differences.
No, they don't. There's
a whole different cultural difference.
Yeah.
That movie with Sidney Poitier, guess look who's coming to dinner?
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And our kids are looking at the world with a different lens. They don't
completely different lens. Yes. The kids are more open to the new, I'm not going to say new norm, because in some situations it's not new, it's been there. It's just now a bit more frivolous. It's free, it's more
right. More socially acceptable, and
exactly.
They're not investing a whole lot of time in wondering if you are one way or that way, or how many ways you like to do it. They're not into that. But I'm talking about human kindness, human dignity, what a person wants, what a person needs. A lot of times women will tell a man, I don't need you. Well, you need to getting, Susie. You need to go on about your business, because I don't want somebody to be with me and tell me to my face that they don't want me.
Right.
Right.
You got to understand what that's doing to a person when they do that. And often when we do that, we say, I don't need you. That's just pride. That's just pride and self-righteousness saying, I don't need you. Because you know what? You needed me yesterday. You needed me an hour ago. You needed me 2 minutes ago.
You need to cook that dinner.
Yeah. Now you don't need me. Okay. Sometimes you just kind of brush those things off, because it's just emotion speaking, and also there's a pain or some resentment of some sort behind those words, and words are very strong, because you can go ahead. Yeah. You tell your man, I don't need you. Okay. It's not like women, we kind of absorb everything, but at the same time, you're telling that man that go about your business, do whatever you want, but that's truly not what you really want from him. You understand what I'm saying? So don't say things that you ultimately don't mean. you know?
And then when he does that, because then you sitting there looking like, well, why did you do that?
Why did you do that?
Right.
Did you remember? You told me you don't need me.
Right. So getting past a marital indiscretion is very hard. I don't know how I would feel about that. I haven't had to face that. But don't take me to bed with you and her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring no babies here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring no diseases here. If you old enough to play the game, you old enough to be responsible.
Right.
And talk to me. You never know what the situation may be. Talk to the person that you're with.
Right.
Because if you talk to them, they may be down with it.
Right.
They might want to have a polyamorous relationship. Might want to open it up. But a conversation is key, and this conversation has been riveting, and you have just really, really shared so many wonderful pieces of advice and poured out your heart. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you, Germalin, so they can, do some deep dive. They can follow you, and I hear that you're going to be starting maybe a podcast soon. So
yes,
definitely going to help you cross promote that.
Well, I'm happy for the friendship, April. And I was mentioning that earlier and I didn't get to say it, but my husband and I started off doing a show on Facebook called Pillow Talk. We thought it was a fantastic opportunity because as men and women, that's what we do when we lay down at night together. We lay back and we share certain intimate things. So we started off with Pillow Talk on Facebook under my page, Germalin Barnes, as well as we then decided let's do a marriage ministry. So we've created a marriage ministry, which is called Love on Top Marriage Ministry. Prior to that, I have my brand Beauty for Ashes, which speaks volumes to me because as people, we go through such pain and dark places, and it sometimes feel like it's a hard place that we can't get out of. And I always say I'm Beauty for Ashes. I've been there, but God has restored me and brought me to brought those pains out of me, and now I'm able to feel beautified, and I'm able to feel enriched, and I'm able to feel confident and be that beautiful person and soul that I am, that I'm here now to share certain experiences and bringing women together so they can also speak their truths and speak about their circumstances to find some way to kind of start a healing process, right? So the relationship language is very meaningful. It's coming from the heart because I have so much testimonies. My husband has testimonies. And I think this is, as people, we need to feel that it's okay. I'm not telling you to walk around with your situation on your sleeve, but feel that it's okay to talk about your pain and your struggles, relationship-wise, whatever that may look like for you. So I've since created on Facebook, Beauty for Ashes, Women's Circle, as well as on Instagram. If you like to follow me, you can find it on the BFA_A_women's circle, and just join the group. The group, it's a private group, it's a non-judgmental space, because who am I to judge? We're not to judge, but I can't judge. I've been through it. You understand me? And that's what we do as people. We try to judge other people, and we're basically
but judgment is very valid too. A lot of people say they don't judge. I judge. I'm gonna take praise. I'm a judge, and the reason why is that's how I edit and filter fact and fiction.
Yes.
So that I base it on my experience. Now, if you can open me up, if you can change the language with the conversation, sure, I'm willing to tweak it. But judgment does come in, but judgment doesn't mean that you have to alienate someone or disrespect them.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you again so much for being here on the edge with me and my brains. You at home, you're okay. It was a great place.
Yes.
I want you to go. I'm going to put all of Germalin's information down at the bottom. Go click on the link. Have a conversation with her. Follow some of her shows. She's so enlightful.
Yes.
She is, she's a wonderful person. I'm so glad that I met her. And there's some big things going on in Canada.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot that we can invest in one another, in our children, and in our relationships. So thank you again, and come back and visit me again here on
I will.
Right?
Thank you, April.
All right, thank you.
Have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye.